Nur Maulana Shah Kareem Al Hussaini Hazir Imam. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. La ta'khuzuhu sinatan wa la nawm. Lahu ma fis samawati wa ma fil ard. من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. شكرا لله والحمد لله. شكرا لله والحمد لله. الحي 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 शाह करीम अल अकरम 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 मुश्किल आसान या अली मदद रसान या अली 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 पनाह या मौला अमान या मौला 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 ला इलाहा इल्ला अंत सुब्हानका इन्नी कुन्तु मिनज़ ज़ालिमीन ला इलाहा इल्ला अंत सुब्हानका इन्नी कुन्तु मिनज़ ज़ालिमीन لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم 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 شكرا لله والحمد لله
Shukran lillah, alhamdulillah. Yali Madad to all friends.
Maulali Madad.
Thank you, Zainab.
Mulali Madad.
And good to see you, Zubaida.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad Naila. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad Ashraf, I'm really happy to see you. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ali Allah, Madad Farma. Mushkil Kusha Meherban Maula, Madad Farma, Madad Farma. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ونعم المولى ونعم النصير 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 الحي القيوم अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा तौफीक ताईद हिम्मत गुजारी मेहरबान मौला मदद फरमा. With Maula's mercy and your prayers, we are again gathered here today for our class 3, and we are discussing Imam's references in Quran. And we had actually started to talk about in the introduction session to give you brief overview. And then we also talked about why are we in this course, and then why are we learning about Quranic verses in context of its ta'wil. Quran has been there for 1400 years, but we as a group here, we are hoping to dive deep into the understanding of its ta'wil, relating it to Faramin and Ginans of our Imam. So Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, it is truly a very joyous feeling for me that you all are interested and you are here. And with Maula's mercy, let us start with Farman of Imam. Okay, first we have objectives. So yes, we did zikr, we are seeking Imam's help. We will study a Farman. And then if there are any comments, or I would like you to give me some points which you remember, if you have any questions, and then we will continue with our review of verses of Imam in Quran and supporting verses to understand all those verses where Imam is mentioned. So one of you can come forward and read this Farman, please.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. And I say to my spiritual children, therefore, that the notion of education is no longer limited in time. Think of it as a lifelong exercise. Read, think, dialogue, reflect, and bring to yourselves as much knowledge as you can in order to lead your life in a better way every day. Karachi, 2017. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad.
A beautiful Farman of Imam from Karachi, Pakistan, 16th December 2017. And this Imam has very clearly given us the guidance, very clearly given us the guidance that the notion of education is no longer limited in time, meaning that it was not such that we have been to school or college or university and that education is finished, it's ended. No, it's a lifelong learning. We are expected to read, think, discuss among ourselves and reflect. And this is not only to improve our worldly education or worldly life we are talking about. No, it is the same principle applies to our spiritual life, our spiritual learning. And somehow we have always given attention to our physical life, physical growth, physical progress. And I'm so happy that there are few friends who have given their commitment to attend these classes regularly so we can step by step learn higher concepts. There are very many sessions are going on at general level, and those of you who are listening, they will find some repetition. But remember, everybody is not at the same level, so we have to go step by step to build the firm foundation to get to a higher level of understanding. Imam's hidayat is that we learn this knowledge to live our life in a better way. Now, definitely one can take this farman and apply it to the physical life, physical living, but that's not it. Because our life is not only physical life. In fact, we have other farman, the Imam says that we have come to this life for hereafter. Paigambar hadith is there that we have come to this life to earn for the life hereafter. So this farman cannot be simply taken as for our physical education or physical growth. It is for our spiritual growth, spiritual education, and or our intellectual growth. Why? Because our beings are at three levels. And it is only through the knowledge that we can elevate ourselves. Briefly in Urdu, For friends who are joining from India, especially, हम यहाँ पे इमाम के फरमान की जो बात कर रहे हैं, हम ये कह रहे हैं कि मौला की हिदायत ये है कि हम अपनी जिंदगी में इल्म को लिमिट नहीं करें फिजिकल लाइफ के लिए ही। हम अपनी लाइफ में जब सुधारा लाना चाहते हैं, उसको आगे बढ़ाना चाहते हैं, तो हमें ये याद रखना होगा कि हमारी जिंदगी जो है वो खाली जिस्म नहीं है, हमारी रूह भी है, हमारी अकल भी है। तो हमें पढ़ना है, सोचना है, आपस में बात करनी है, ध्यान देना है, ख्याल करना है। रिफ्लेक्शन इज ख्याल। ख्याल कैसे पैदा होगा? जब तक हम इल्म को हासिल नहीं करेंगे। जब इमाम फरमाते हैं कि ये इल्म जो है वो हमें अपनी जिंदगी को बेहतर गुजारने के लिए हमारी मदद करेगा और हर दिन हम बेहतर बनते जाएंगे, तो समहाउ हम इसको लिमिट करते हैं फॉर फिजिकल लाइफ ओनली, जो कि एक अच्छी बात नहीं है। क्योंकि इमाम के जो फरामीन है वो हमारी जिंदगी के लिए है, और हमारी जिंदगी सिर्फ जिस्म नहीं है, हमारी रूह भी है, हमारी अकल भी है। दुनिया में हम अपनी रूह की तरक्की के लिए आए हैं, अपनी आखिरत को कमाने के लिए आए हैं। तो इसका फरमान का जो लागू होना है वो हमारे रूह पर भी और हमारे अकल पर भी। So this is going to be our format from the next class. We will have review and we will have new verses in the next class. So those who would like to pre-read, do note down these verses, and I'll keep adding here, so you have to pay attention, and we'll continue to bring these, what we have discussed, we'll bring it here. So by the end of the course, we will know how many verses we have highlighted in Quran. We have written some notes about it. And that would give us such a happy feeling that we know these verses more than just the translation which is there in front of us in the Quran. तो ये एक अच्छी आदत होगी कि अपने कुरान को लेके हाईलाइट करना है, लिखना है जो हम सीख रहे हैं। कुरान में भी आप कुछ अल्फाज को दुरुस्त कर सकते हैं, नोट लिख सकते हैं। तो हम इस तरह से इस फॉर्मेट को जारी रखेंगे। So do note this down. We had discussed this 3 by 103. So I'm not going to go into detail because this was our kind of earlier class. In the last class, we talked about 18 by 65, which talks about given knowledge. Ilme laduni. Imams have given knowledge. They have ilme laduni. Allah talks in parables. Allah talks in parables. Even if you pick up Bible or if you pick up any books of Allah, even Faramin, it is a habit of Noor to talk in parables. Only with knowledge will be those who will be able to understand what is given within these parables, what gems are hidden within these parables. Then we also discussed 2 by 2, which actually gave us the understanding how translators are translating it with their own intellect. They're using their own knowledge or opinions or beliefs to translate the Quran. That is why it is not a very smart decision to depend on one translation, but on transliteration. Yes, we definitely need translation because we don't know Arabic. But still, within the translation, we will be able to identify errors if we are paying attention to transliteration. And we will do that in every class. Step by step, what I hope to achieve, that our treasure of the words which we know in Arabic will increase. So right now, you do know this word Arabic, which is zalika. The meaning of the word is zalika is that. But most translations show it as a this. So Mubarakbad that you've learned Arabic. You're learning Arabic as well. Then we talked about Quranic verse 31 by 20, which talks about people who dispute about knowledge. They say different things about different sects of Islam or different religions, but they don't have knowledge and they dispute without knowledge. And for us, the hidayat of our Imam is that there are very many interpretations of Quran, and we respect everybody. We don't criticize, we don't judge. We give everybody freedom of religion, and we practice our own religion. So remember that we never judge or criticize anybody. Yes, at the level of knowledge, we talk about things so we can understand it. यहाँ पे हमने बहुत ही briefly समरी की कि हमने पिछली क्लास में क्या किया था। तो उम्मीद है कि आपने लेक्चर सुना होगा जिन्होंने मिस किया, और हमने जाना कि 18/65 में खुदा ताला फरमाते हैं कि इमाम को नॉलेज जो है उनके बातिन में होती है, गिवन होती है। और हमने ये भी पढ़ा 26/43 में कि खुदा की जो तालीमात हैं, इवन फरामीन्स हैं, वो हमेशा मिसाल में होते हैं, एक अजीब व गरीब मिसाल में बयान करते हैं। जैसे इमाम का फरमान हमने लास्ट टाइम किया, इमाम कहते हैं तुम बादाम खाते हो, छिलका खाते हो, बादाम नहीं खाते हो, इसका मग्ज नहीं खाते हो। बादाम और मग्ज की बात नहीं कर रहे, इमाम तावील की बात कर रहे हैं। फिर हमने जालिका की बात की कि जालिका का जो वर्ड कुरान के अंदर है उसकी ट्रांसलेशन ज्यादातर ट्रांसलेटर्स ने गलत की है। क्यों? कि उनका ईमान जो है वो उनको इफेक्ट करता है ट्रांसलेशन में। इसी वजह से लोग जो है इल्म के बगैर खुदा की जो हिदायत है उसके बारे में झगड़ा करते हैं, 31/20 बगैर इल्म के। तो मकसद ये है कि हमें इल्म से अपने मजहब को समझना है, हमारे तरीके को जानना है। और इमाम का फरमान ये है कि हम जो है सबकी इज्जत करते हैं, हम किसी को क्रिटिसाइज नहीं करते हैं, क्योंकि सबके पास अपना इंटेलेक्ट है, वो अपने तरीके से तालीमात को समझें और प्रैक्टिस करें। हम इस्माइली हैं, हमें अपने तरीके के हिसाब से अपने मजहब को अच्छी तरीके से समझना है। So today's verses are only 3, and inshallah we will discuss it in detail. So let's open up our Quran 16/120. So I hope that everybody's Quran is tagged and they are now comfortable with the chapters. And those who are comfortable can come forward and read the translation. It is okay. So here it is, 16/120. This is Surah Nahl. And if we were to look at the transliteration, it reads, Inna Ibrahima kana ummatan. The word ummatan is there. Qanitan lillahi hanifa, walam yaku minal mushrikeen. So if we were to look at this transliteration, we recognize the word Ibrahim, Hanif, mushrikeen. These are words which we have heard in the past. The translation says, Ibrahim was indeed a model, devoutly obedient to Allah, upright in religion. The better translation of Hanifa, Lillahi Hanifa, is upright in religion. And he joined not gods with Allah. तो इब्राहिम जो है वो खुदा की तरफ से पेशवा हैं, उनके फरमान बरदार हैं, और वो मुखलिस हैं, ईमानदार हैं। किस चीज में? कि वो खुदा के साथ किसी और को शरीक नहीं करते हैं। In this word, the word ummat, if you remember, this word we studied in the context of chapter 3, verse 103. We studied 103 to 107, and we have talked about this word there too, that people are being called by the nation of people to come towards Dawat-e-Haq. The word ummatan here is actually referring to a nation. The fourth word, if you were to go into Corpus Quran, you will find the fourth word is ummatan, and it means a nation, which we don't see in translation as per se. So what we are saying, Ibrahim was indeed a nation. Now, how can one person be a nation? That does not make sense. If some Quran will say Ibrahim was a community. So different words, but what we are focusing on the word ummatan here, that how come Allah is calling his Natik, his Paigambar, who was such a good person in his deeds, he was Imandar, he was Farman Bardar, but when he's talking about him as an individual, he uses the word in plural and he says that he is a nation. Well, how come one person be a nation? Now, when we talk of Maula Ali being our first Imam, he is our father. He is the nation, he is the Imam, the first Imam, and he is the father of the Imams, the Nurun Allah Nur principle going on in the light of the chain of Imamat. But when we are looking into the Natik name, they are also called nation. When we are seeing this word, it means that when we look at them physically, when we look at their body, we limit them to one person. But in reality, when we are seeking to understand the higher level of understanding, the deeper knowledge, we realize that there is a concept of Batni world, personal world, Alame Shaksi. And this world, it's coming from our first chapter of Quran, Surah Fatiha, Surah Shifa, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, that he is the one who is Rahmat for all the worlds. And Imam Jafar Sadiq explains what does this world means. And Imam says that this is the world of every individual, which is within themselves. And that world we call personal world. So there are different types of worlds. One world which we see, the world we live in, the universe we live in, the planet. But then there is a world which is within us. That is the world which is seen by Allah, that within that world of Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was a role model. Now the question here would be, what is in that world? जब हम ये कहते हैं कि इब्राहिम अपने आप में एक कौम थे, एक कम्युनिटी थे, एक नेशन थे, हाउ, किस तरह से? तब हमने ये समझा कि यहाँ पे जो बात हो रही है वो आलम शख्सी की बात हो रही है, जिस तरह से हम दुआ में पढ़ते हैं अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह रब्बिल आलमीन। आलमीन जो है वो आलम से है, आलम की जमा है, वर्ल्ड्स। तो इब्राहिम अलैहिस्सलाम के अंदर जो दुनिया थी, उस दुनिया को देखते हुए खुदा ताला फरमाते हैं कि he was a model, he was a nation in himself. तो हमारे पर्सनल वर्ल्ड के अंदर क्या है? What is within our personal world? There is a world of particles within the personal world. Now, how do we understand the world of particles? Let's take a physical example, make it very easy for us. We have cells in our being. How many cells? Millions and trillions, uncountable numbers of cells within our physical body. Every cell is alive, living, performing a function at a physical level. Where is that soul which gives the life to us? If we were to be not having soul right now, all cells will die, the body will be dead, दफना देंगे हम। तो हमारे अंदर जो रूह है वो हकीकत के अंदर हमारे सेल्स के अंदर जिंदगी देती है कि वो फंक्शन करे। मतलब हमारा हाथ चलता है, हम अगर बोल रहे हैं, हमारा दिल धड़क रहा है, all the organs which are functioning, it is because of the cellular function. We are seen as one person, but in reality we are not one. We are divided into millions and trillions of cells. Similarly, each cell has a particle of soul, and that is why that cell is alive. Now, the status of that soul particle is actually frozen, munjamid. It is frozen. But when we are talking about our imaman, our natikan, for them the personal world is living. every particle is living. And that is how the Natik was a nation, a community in plural. The world of particles within himself was alive. Another level of understanding. When we say that we all are with Imam, Imam says that I am always with you. How is he with us all the time? Through the world of particles. How? In Imam's personal world, we all are present. We all are there. Imam nourishes us, Imam guides us internally. He gives our blessings internally, batin ke andar. But we don't see that. Why? Because what we have done, we have not awakened our soul. The connection to Imam is kind of frozen. So we see physically, we are blessed with physical didar, we see Faramin at physical level, we understand knowledge at physical level. The more we walk on the journey of Batni ilm, elevating ourselves in the batin, that soul, that particle we are in Imam's personal world will become alive. And we will have Batni communication with the Imam, which comes after Ilmul Yaqeen. Remember, there are 3 darjat. सबसे पहले आता है इल्मुल यकीन, उसके बाद आता है ऐनुल यकीन, the certainty of eyes. Eyes, ये फिजिकल आंखों की बात नहीं हो रही है, बातनी आंखों की बात हो रही है. That we are able to see in our personal world. How are we connected to Imam? How are we one with Imam? How are we in the paradise of Imam? So I hope that we are able to understand this word ummatan here. It is actually talking about the particle of world, the world of particles. Sorry, world of particles. This is the limitation which happens when you are constantly thinking in 2 languages. Alam-e-Zar and the world of particles. What other names can we think of? When we talk of this concept, what other things we can think of? We can think of single soul. Our Natik, Ibrahim, was a single soul. Within him, there was world of particles. So he is now Ummat with the recognition of Imam, with the recognition of his Lord. There is no shirk in him. How did he achieve that status? We are being told. He was devoutly obedient, बहुत ही humble, फरमान बरदार, ईमानदार, इताअत गुजार. All these characteristics were present in him. So what we are saying, if we are studying these verses, we are actually wanting to walk on the path of our Imams and Paigambar. And that is to be able to recognize them with knowledge. And what we are learning in the knowledge, in order to recognize, we do need to become Farman Bardar with conviction. Our zikr ibadat, ilm amal has to get better day by day, every hour, every moment. We are climbing up the ladder, living life very conscientiously. So, to summarize this verse, that Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, who was perfect, who was upright in his religion, became this nation, calling people to the nation, to his personal world, where he had recognized the Lord as he is ought to be recognized, without any shirk, meaning having other gods. And he had molded his personality. He has transformed himself in such a way that he was Farman Bardar, and due to that, his ranks were elevated. He became the living world, living world of particles. Everyone has the personal world, but that personal world is sleeping. We all, each one of us has that world, but we don't realize, we don't see that world because that world is sleeping. We are blind to that world. Only with knowledge, we are able to learn about it at the level of knowledge, and then zikr ibadat. Zikr is very important. What we did in the Alam-e-Amr when we were with Imam, we were in complete recognition of Imam. And when we came to this world, we got this physical body and we forgot. We forgot. How do we come to recall what we had forgotten? It's through remembrance, to recall by doing the zikr. The more zikr ibadat we do, the more gap we cross, which is between our physical world and the spiritual world, which is within our personal world. It exists right now, it's present. Whatever we are learning, our soul already knows. The way in Gnan it says, Atma Ram Tame Bada Ginani. Because Atma has all the knowledge. But because we are seeing with physical eyes, we are not able to see our Atma, which is knowledgeable. But the more we cross that gap, that distance which is there, we will be able to understand that knowledge. All right, let's do the next verse. Now, this is very crucial verse, and it is known as Aya Istafa. There are two verses here, 33 and 34 from chapter 3. It is known as verse of chosen, Aya Istafa. Extremely important verse. Indeed, Allah chose Adam and Noah and the family of Ibrahim and the family of Imran over the worlds. Over the worlds. Some Qurans will say descendants and some will say offspring. And that over the worlds, some of them from others. They are chosen, some of them are chosen from others. And Allah is all hearing and knowing. This is the verse I referred to last week very briefly when we were talking about Pope versus Imam. That Pope is elected, Imams are selected, and this is the proof. This verse is the proof. It is a verse of chosen. ये आयत हमें बताती है कि किस तरह से फर्क है इमाम में और दूसरे Pope या साधु या whoever. This was asked by a youngster, and I have kept that because we live in a Western world, so they kind of confused. Why do we see people respecting Pope so much, and what is the difference? So Pope is elected. Imam is selected by Allah, and this is the Quranic proof that Allah has chosen Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, Hazrat Noah alayhi salam. These are two individuals. Note that these are two individuals. And then comes the family of Ibrahim and the family of Imran. So very interestingly, within the verse, we see two individuals and two families. Very interesting. We do know that Hazrat Adam alayhi salam had two sons, Abel and Cain. Abel was martyred by Cain. So there was no family. Cain became Shaitan, become devil, right? The army of Shaitan. If we were to be from the progeny of Cain, then it does not make sense because Cain had gone astray. Then we know about second Natik, Hazrat Noah alayhi salam. When the deluge came, his own wife, his own son did not believe in him, did not go into the ark, and they were left behind. And that is how we are able to see that how Adam is an individual and Hazrat Noah alayhi salam is an individual. But then we see family of Ibrahim. Now I'm sure all of you know that Hazrat Ibrahim had two sons, Isaac and Ishmael. Hazrat Ibrahim के दो बेटे थे, हजरत इसहाक अलैहिस्सलाम और हजरत इस्माइल अलैहिस्सलाम। हजरत इस्माइल की कुर्बानी कबूल की गई और हजरत इस्माइल अलैहिस्सलाम जो है वो इमाम बने। हजरत इब्राहिम ने जो कुर्बानी की हजरत इस्माइल की, हजरत इस्माइल जो है वो इमाम बने और हजरत इसहाक जो है वो पैगंबर बने। और हजरत इसहाक ही से हजरत यूसुफ अलैहिस्सलाम, याकूब अलैहिस्सलाम, all that is coming from the progeny of Hazrat Ishaq, which is actually Hazrat Ibrahim alaihissalam's progeny. So very interestingly, we see the family of Ibrahim had two divisions, Isaac and Ismail. It is a family. Then we have family of Imran. Now who is that family? I hope, I'm sure most of you know. Imran is the name of Maula Ali's father. But then we do need to realize that in history, there were more than one Imran. And whenever there is more than, one answer, it can lead to confusion. It can lead to confusion. So we got to be very, very clearly understanding who is who. हजरत इब्राहिम के दो बेटे थे, इसहाक जो पैगंबर थे, उनसे पैगंबरी का सिलसिला चला। इस्माइल जो कि इमाम थे, उससे इमामत का सिलसिला चला। लेकिन इमरान जो है वो मौला अली के फादर का नाम है। तारीख में हमें पता चलता है कि इमरान जो है वो एक ही नहीं थे, एक से ज्यादा थे। वो कौन से इमरान थे? सबसे पहले इमरान जो है वो बीबी मरियम के भी फादर का नाम था। इमरान जो हजरत मूसा अलैह के फादर का भी नाम था। So write it down for your remembrance that Imran was also the name of the father of Hazrat Bibi Maryam alayhi salam, father of Hazrat Isa, mother of Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. Bibi Maryam, father's name is Hazrat Imran. And then we have Hazrat Musa alayhi salam's father, whose name is also Imran. There are more Imran actually in the history, but these three Imrans are most popular. But when we talk of this verse, Aya Istafa, we are talking about the progeny of Maulana Abu Talib, the father of Maula Ali. So I hope that this is very clear for us now, that how the verse of chosen is clearly telling us that Allah has sent only one religion, and that religion is true religion, which is called Dawat-e-Haq. It started from Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam, and it continued to go on until the family of Imran. So just for your knowledge, there were 6 Natik major prophets, and there are 124,000 minor prophets. They all are called Pagambar prophets. But when we go into deeper understanding of these prophets, 6 are called Natik. The proper term is Natik. I personally do not like this major and minor because we are not doing justice to these personalities. It is in English, there's a limitation. So we do need to learn these terms. It has to be Natik. So 6 Natiks are Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, Hazrat Noah alayhi salam, Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, and Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. These are 6 Natik. Plural of Natik is Natikan. So from the day one, it is true religion. This verse shows us that there were 2 individuals who became Natik, but from their family, there was no continuation. But then there comes the family of Hazrat Ibrahim. We see continuation. And then we see continuation from Maulana Imran's progeny. Whenever we read in our Ginans, in Farman, that Ale Nabi Aulad Ali, we are able to connect to Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is 1400 years ago. But this verse actually shows us that how it is connected. How? Through the true religion, connected at the level of batin, at the level of the soul. And Allah has chosen some over the others. And those some are Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, Hazrat Noah alayhi salam, family of Ibrahim and family of Imran. So he created the whole world, the humanity. But then he chose some over others. This is Quranic revelation. We as Ismailis, we know that we are talking about Noor here, that the Noor is chosen. And that is how we say Imam is that embodied Noor, Noor-e Mujassam, which is continuously coming from the day one. The progeny is constant. There is no discontinuation in the Noor. There are some who are given priority over others. The objection in every point in time, from the time of Adam, Iblis said, why Adam? Why not me? Hasad. And what had happened? There were people who were with Iblis and there were people who prostrated to Adam. Same, Hazrat Noah alayhi salam, his own family, biological, physical family is not with him. But then there is a family of Hazrat Noah alayhi salam. Allah says it very clearly in the Quran. When he pleads to Allah saying, oh Allah, what about my wife? What about my son? He says, they are not your family. So the family is those who follows, who believes. And that is why Mawla calls us my spiritual children. We are his Ruhani children because we believe in him. So the Noah had his family on the ark. Then there are family of Ibrahim and the family of Imran. So it's the same silsila. It is the same chain of the light, which is continues first from Natikan and then to Imaman. It is the same silsila. Now, this is the first verse in which Imam is mentioned. And this verse says, and when Ibrahim was tried by his Lord with words, the words allegory here actually alludes to, refers to Isme Azam. When Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam was tried with words and he fulfilled them. Not just one Isme Azam, it says plural words, meaning Asmai Izam. Isme Azam is just singular, one word, but then there is promotion, there is tarakki. Chithi badalti hai. Asmai Izam, not just one word, but multiple words. And the term is Asmai Izam. He fulfilled them. When he did that, what did Allah say? Indeed, I will make you Imam for the people. Now look at your transliteration, you will find the word Imam, but translation may say different things. So let us please all open our Quran. सब खोलें अपने कुरान को और देखें कि क्या लिखा हुआ है. Chapter 2, verse 24. जो भी हमारे पास ट्रांसलेशन है, उर्दू में है या इंग्लिश में है, मुझे बताएं कि क्या लिखा हुआ है.
Leader.
Leader. Okay, but look,
Yeah.
look at the transliteration. What does it say? Can you identify the word Imam there?
Imama, yeah.
Good, very good. Good job.
So is it the word imama? Imama?
Yeah. Yeah, let me read now. Look at the transliteration. I'll read that so we can all be together. It says, وَإِذَ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ. So this is the kalimat, words. So underline this word. You do know this word. Kalimat is words and it is Isme Azam. Write it down on top of the Quran so you remember. This kalimat is Isme Azam. فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ قَالَ إِنِّي جَعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا. That word, Imam. That is, underline it. That is word Imam there. So highlight the whole verse, but underline word Imam. The words which you recognize, underline those words. So Imam. Even if you look at the lil nas, the word nas means humanity. Imam for people, Imam for humanity, Imam for the whole world, lil nas. If we continue to go further, it says Kala Vaman Zuriyatihi. The word Zuriyat means, you would see descendants or offsprings. The Zuriyat word actually means world of particles. The tawil of this word is world of particles. Zuriyat is from zarra. Zarra is a particle. And then Zuriyatihi is world of particles. Kala layanalu ahdi zalimin. Zalimin, we do know what zalim, wrongdoers. So this is how we will collect small pearls in our basket to know these terms beautifully mentioned in Arabic. So were you all able to identify the word Imam in your Quran?
जी मैंने मीनिंग नोट की, मेरे पास पेशवा है उर्दू में.
Thank you for sharing. तो पेशवा लिखा हुआ है उर्दू में. अगर पेशवा है, लीड इंग्लिश में लीडर है, whatever it is, please cut it and write down Imam there, because we will not look at the translation because they are not telling us exactly what is in Arabic. Arabic says Imam. So all of us have identified how Imam is mentioned in Quran and how you know more than the translators who are PhD holders and they are translating it, but your translation is better because you see transliteration with the light of Imam in your heart, that you can see this. So this is the first reference of Imam in Quran which we are studying. And very beautifully, we all have identified how Imam is mentioned in the Quran. But here, I would like you to understand the word here is Lil Nase Imama. So Imam for the people, Imam for the nation. And normally in different classes, you would hear word Imamun Nas. Imamun Nas. Imam for the people. Imam has come to this world as an Imam for the people, for the whole world. He is Imam. People accept him or not, willingly or unwillingly. Everybody will have to accept him one day. But we are those blessed Jamaat who are in Bayat of Imam, under the duashis of Imam. So we got to be so grateful that we are with Imam. Now, Ibrahim, the way Ibrahim was, we have been reading about Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, that he was a devoutly obedient, farman bardari with conviction. He was so good in his ibadat that he did not only completed his one Isma Azam, but he completed Asma'i Izam. Asma'i Izam. Due to that, Allah had elevated his rank and given him the rank of Imam as well. Remember, Riyazat o Ibadat, फरमान बरदारी, दर्जात को अगर बढ़ाना है तो मेहनत करनी होगी. तरीका, when we follow our tariqa, we do need to follow the tariqa with intellect. Only physically following the tariqa will not help us elevate our ranks. Allah has called Hazrat Ibrahim Khalil. The word Khalil means darwesh or sincere friend. His title is Khalilullah. The title of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam is Khalilullah, friend of Allah, darwesh of Allah, sincere friend. He is a lover. He is a hub. He is a ashik. In Quran, there are words given as hub, H-U-B-B, hub, muhib. All these words indicating that he was the lover of the Noor of Allah. Because Allah is abstract Noor. Allah is not here present with us.
It is Imam who is present all the time. But during the time of Natikan, Natiks were veils. They were in front. People did not know about Imam. Imams were behind Natik because it was time of the prophethood. Simple as that. Today it is the time of Imamat. So Imams are in front, visible, and we don't see any Natik. Ibrahim was a model of guidance. He was a role model. He was truly a model. He had followed the religion, this upright religion. He had walked through this journey step by step, passing all the tests, elevating his ranks. And you know, how do I say that? Actually, I'm referring to a Quranic verse, and those who are interested, you can read that verse. It is chapter 6, verses from 70s to 80s, 76 onwards, Surah Al-An'am. And it talks about Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. When he was a young child, he somehow was in a cave, and he would come out of the cave due to fear of people who were against the true religion. It has happened all the time. And he was being delivered by his mother actually in the cave, and he was being taken care in the cave. So he would only come out at night time. That's the physical story actually of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. So when he was a young child, when he would come out of the cave, he would see stars. And he says, they're just shining and beautiful. This must be my God. I believe in the stars. Then one night there was a full moon. And he says, this moon is more brighter than these stars. My God is this moon. I believe in the moon. Then finally, a time comes when he's able to come out of the cave during the daytime, and he sees the sun. And he says, my moon cannot be my God. Sun is so bright and shining, and everything is visible in the light of sun. Definitely, this is my God. Now, this does not make sense. This physical story does not make sense. We are talking about our Natik. But Quran talks like that about our Natik in the Quran because it is in parables. Quran is written, revealed in parables. When he found the Imam who is at the level of the sun, he said, definitely, this is my Lord. Noor-e Mujassam. Imam gave him Isme Azam. He completed. Tarakki, chithi badli. Tarakki, completed. Again Tarakki. And he elevated himself to the rank of Imam. Imam made him Imam. Now how and the details of that, it will all come easy in the higher stages. We are still keeping it simple and focused. I'm sure some of your minds are running far away and you want to ask all the questions. Remember, what we committed is to walk together as a group. There is no question which will not be answered. So we do need to walk step by step to understand how all this is happening. Hazrat Ibrahim is that Natik who was made Imam. And through him, there are two branches going on. Through his two sons, Hazrat Ishaq alayhi salam, the Pagambari, the prophethood remained in the line of Hazrat Ishaq alayhi salam, Isaac, and Imamat continued from Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam. So this is the first reference which is mentioned in Quran about Imam, and it is talking about Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. Now this elevation of rank is not given to those who are wrongdoers, but my covenant does not include the wrongdoers. I hope we have identified some wrongdoers today. We talked about Cain, son of Adam. We talked about Noah's son. We can even bring it near and talk about Abu Jahl, uncle of Prophet Muhammad, who is also mentioned in Quran. He wanted to kill Prophet. He was his uncle. So not only that the negativity or enemies or wrongdoers are from outside, actually they are within. So close that they are within the family, within the Jamaat. It is only through knowledge that one will be able to identify the hakikat, understand the true religion, understand the hakikat of the Imam. And I'm not saying that, I'm not judging, I'm just referring to this knowledge which we are discussing. I need you to have open mind and see these concepts in the light of knowledge. Adam being the Natik, his son, is a wrongdoer. Another prophet, Hazrat Noah alayhi salam, his son and his wife, wrongdoers. We come closer to Prophet Muhammad, his own uncle, wrongdoer. And we are talking about family here. So is it a test to have complete recognition of Imam? 110%. It is not easy to recognize the Imam in its true essence because the enemy is so close, so near. That is why we have to protect ourselves by doing zikr ibadat. Remember, there's an example given in Quran about mother of Jesus, Bibi Maryam alayhi salam, and it says that she protected her ears. Now, how do we protect our ears? She protected her private parts. Some Qurans will say that. The meaning, the ta'wil is that she did not listen to the ilm, which is not based on true knowledge. There's no limit of knowledge in today's time. Imam Hazim himself said, there is information, there is knowledge, and there is wisdom. You need to be wise in choosing what knowledge you want to listen to, what knowledge you want to read. So here I would like to stop for any questions and comment. Ji Naveen Sahaba.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. I think you have responded to this question, but I'll read out the question in case if you want to add something to it. Prophet Ibrahim was a prophet, so why here it says he is Imam of the people?
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Very good thinking. If you were thinking, see, your minds are going faster. When you read something, your minds are going faster. You're not even letting me answer. So that's good. Actually, it's not a bad thing. I would like you to continue to share your question. Even today, there are questions which have come to your mind, and I told you that there will be. You can submit those questions to Naveen Sahiba, to myself. It is okay to submit your questions. Do not keep your questions with you. But what we'll do is that we will answer those questions in sequence, so it makes more sense. You're able to understand it in a logical flow. So we don't, break our sequence and confuse some of our friends. So we'll go step by step. Every question will be answered, and I do not want to miss out any of your questions. Even when you're reviewing and you think of question, submit. But just be patient that we will cover all the questions. Ji.
If any friends have any question, you can unmute and come forward.
Just have some points of just clarification, Niamat. Can you explain that particles of nation to me one more time, if you don't mind? I got it. I think I get the essence of it, but I'd like to understand a little bit more, if possible.
So it is a difficult concept. It is a difficult concept, no denying. To keep it simple and easy, that we can kind of grasp it, think of cells in our body. When we think of cells, there are millions and trillions of cells, and there are different types of cells. Let me tell you that. There are different types of cells. So within the cells in our physical body, physiology, cells which are in our heart are different from the cells in our arms. The cells which are there in my brain, it is different. Meaning there are darajat within the cells in our physical body. Each cell has a life. हर सेल के अंदर जिंदगी है. अगर आज मेरे 100 साल पूरे हो जाते हैं, मैं मर जाती हूँ, रूह निकल जाती है, तो जिस्म के अंदर जितने सेल्स हैं वो सब मर जाएंगे. That is the logic, that the cells are having the life because of the soul. Okay? Now, each soul, Rome, Rome Maro Shaha Vase. When Pir said that, actually Pir is teaching us that concept of world of particles, Alam Zat. He was so awake, conscious, that he had identified each soul in his cells, every particle of his being. Okay? But then for us, why are we not aware of that world? The status of those souls are frozen. In Quran, we will read the word munjamid, Mungamid, munjamid. It is frozen state. How can we come out of that frozen state? Shake it up, wake it up. How do you do that? Zikr ibadat, ilm amal. It is as if they are not nourished. When we don't eat food, our cells will not have energy to perform the function. We will not be able to walk or do any physical activities if we keep our body not nourished in the physical sense. Similarly, those particles of souls, Rome, Rome, Marusha, Vase, needs to be fed. And the food for those souls, particles is Zikr Ibadat. That is why when we started this course, it is not just knowledge here. What we are hoping and achieve is transformation of ourselves. And that is why you would see that we do focus on zikr a lot. And we will continue to do that because this knowledge eventually will continue to become difficult and we will not be able to understand. Why? Because there is a gap between our physical body and the spiritual body. In order to pass that distance, that overcome that distance, decrease that gap, we will have to do zikr ibadat. There's a beautiful verse in Quran which talks about Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam or Hazrat Talut alayhi salam. Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam. It says that he has sent the knowledge which is so hard like a metal. Knowledge like a metal, like an iron? It doesn't make sense. But then he says he makes it easier. That metal, extremely difficult concepts, they become so simple, so easy, so smooth that we can understand it. But there are criteria. So when we are walking on the path of advanced learning, discussing things in detail, going to in depth, a time will come, some of you might feel, oh, this is just overwhelming. Because it is like an iron. Why? Because all those souls particles are sleeping. So we need the help of a zikr ibadah to awaken them, feed them. So when we listen to these concepts, it will become easier to absorb, to grasp, to comprehend. It is sometimes friends say, I understand it, but I don't. And I don't know what I'm saying. And that is actually that gap.
Helpful. I just want to make one comment. I know you've always emphasized the importance of transliteration and looking at the different translations. And I mean, this 2:124 was amazing for me because if I looked at, I mean, I do look at the Yusuf Ali translation and I've gotten much better at looking at the Legacy Quran. But if I looked at read mine, you don't even see Imam, and you don't even see the word Kalimat, right? Which you said was the Isme Azam. And that's profound, you know. So, I mean, even in the Thursday lecture, I was driving, so I couldn't pay like solid attention, but all the references to the Imam in the Quran was just so enlightening. It's beautiful. Thank you.
I think Shameen Saiba had a question.
जी आपने बताया ना कि हजरत इब्राहिम के दो बेटे थे, हजरत इसहाक और हजरत इस्माइल। हजरत इसहाक नातिक थे और हजरत इस्माइल पैगंबर।
नहीं, हजरत इसहाक पैगंबर थे।
अच्छा,
ओके शमीम, देखिए हमारे पास 1,24,000 पैगंबर, रिमेंबर वी नो दैट, राइट? इन तमाम पैगंबरों में से 6 नातिक हैं जिनका दर्जा तमाम पैगंबरों से ऊंचा है। अभी तक जबकि हमारे पास इल्म नहीं था तो हम कहते थे 1,24,000 पैगंबर, दैट्स इट, राइट। लेकिन इन पैगंबरों के अंदर भी दर्जात हैं, हर चीज में दर्जात हैं। इन पैगंबर के अंदर 6 जो है वो नातिक हैं। हजरत इब्राहिम जो है वो नातिक थे। हजरत इसहाक जो है वो पैगंबर थे। इंग्लिश में इसको बहुत सिंपल करके कहते हैं माइनर प्रॉफिट एंड मेजर प्रॉफिट। सो इसहाक माइनर प्रॉफिट थे, यानी कि लेट मी टेल यू वन मोर अहेड ऑफ स्टेप। शमीम, आपके सवाल से एक और सवाल का जवाब देते हैं कि फर्क क्या है नातिक और प्रॉफिट में, नातिक और पैगंबर में फर्क क्या है? व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन नातिक एंड द पैगंबर? पैगंबर are very many in numbers, but natiks are only 6, because each natik actually brings his own shariat, his own talimat. After that natik, Paigambars continue to follow that shariat. When a new natik comes, new shariat comes. तो शमीम, आप समझ गए कि उनके जो 2 बेटे थे, इसहाक से पैगंबरी चली, हजरत यूसुफ अलैहिस्सलाम, हजरत दाऊद अलैहिस्सलाम, हजरत याकूब, ये तमाम जो है वो इसहाक की नस्ल से हैं। यहाँ तक कि उसी लाइन में से हजरत ईसा अलैहिस्सलाम भी आते हैं। लेकिन जब हम इस्माइल अलैहिस्सलाम की बात करते हैं तो इस्माइल अलैहिस्सलाम से इमामत का सिलसिला जारी रहा। तो अगर हम इमाम के फरामीन को पढ़ते हैं, इमाम ने जो है फरमाया है कि हम जो है इब्राहिम की नस्ल से हैं, क्योंकि ये एक ही नस्ल है। इब्राहिम की नस्ल से ही हजरत अबू तालिब है और ये एक ही सिलसिला है। लेकिन इसके लिए जो है वो पूरी बहुत अच्छे से उसकी जो आल है उसको स्टडी करना पड़े, कि बहुत यूं जो है वो मैप बने हुए हैं बहुत सी किताबों में। इट इज एक्चुअली प्रेजेंट इन सराय, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग। सो पीपल हैव डन द वर्क एंड यू विल फाइंड इट देयर दैट हाउ दिस लाइन एक्चुअली हैज बीन कंटिन्यूअसली गोइंग ऑन। कॉन्सेप्ट जो हमें समझना है, सीखना है, वो फर्क है कि किस टर्म को किसके लिए इस्तेमाल करते हैं, ताकि वी डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज्ड। पैगंबर, नातिक, इमाम। शमीम, क्या आपकी समझ में बात आ रही है मेरी जान?
जी जी।
I missed that.
Okay, I didn't speak in here. Okay. So difference between the natik and the prophet is natik is the one who brings his laws. Shariat is laws, his books. That's the difference.
Anisaba, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that Nure Muzatan, right? Did you say Muzatan? Nure Muzatan continues? When we were talking about the family of Imran, you mentioned the word, maybe I've misunderstood you. Nure
Mujassam.
Mujassam.
Okay, Mujassams. Now I would like to request those of you who know the terms, you can write down in the chat. So the friends who are new here, they can copy it. So Naveen Sahib just wrote the spelling in the chat, so you can see Mujassam.
Okay.
So the word Mujassam means embodied. The light which is embodied.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
It's a very good habit, Anis. If you keep learning these terms, things will become so much easier for you to understand. Very good.
Yes. And it's also interesting to see the 2 verses, 124 and 333 and 34, how how the Quran has been collected, because I would have thought that 333 should be first and then 224 should be afterwards. But we know that the Quran was tempered with in one sense.
Yes. So there are different things have happened. Historically, the Quran was revealed in a different sequence, but it has been put in different sequence just because it would be easier to recite it in 30 days. So all the bigger verse chapters are put in front and the smaller in the back. But even if you were to let's follow the Quran in its sequence, you will have to still struggle to find one verse meaning and look for the answer in another verse. You always have to do that. So it is very interesting, and it comes with the studying of Quran. Mullah said it takes years of study that you'll be able to understand how how one verse is actually talking about asking us to think and reflect and ask questions, but answering somewhere else. That's why it's such a interesting study. It's such a beautiful to be fascinated and learn all these verses and be amazed, like wow.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Friends, any other friends have any questions? Please come forward. If no more question and if you have a comment, you can come forward.
मैं
Yeah, Ali
सवाल
was
करूँ
there.
एक?
Shamim.
जैसे आपने बताया कि 6 नातिकान हैं, उनके साथ हर एक के साथ इमाम थे, तो उनके नाम बताएंगे?
बिल्कुल बताएंगे, इस वक्त नहीं, सब्र
अच्छा
चाहिए.
अच्छा, ठीक, थैंक यू.
Good question, Shamim.
So I have a question, right? In the verse 1865, you said that Imam has ilm laduni and his knowledge is given to us by Allah. So Pir Nasir Khusru and our other peers and our buzurgs like Allama Sahib, then they also had ilm laduni?
Beautiful question, Naila. Excellent question. I intentionally withheld that knowledge, and I was hoping one of you would ask, so Naila heard me. Very good. So what happens? Imam and our Pagambar, our Natikan, they have all the knowledge in their heart. They are chosen personalities. But when a Mu'min Salik walks on the path of knowledge, ibadat, riyazat, zikr ibadat, ilmu amal with Giriya Uzari, devoutly obedient, completed asma izams, what happens? They become one with the Nur. They become one with the Nur. And then they also get ilm laduni. And that is how our peers, Pir Nasir Khusro, Pir Sadruddin, we do know now about Allama Sahib, all those who did walk on the path, being with Imam, completed their Isma Azam, elevated their ranks, they were given ilme laduni. So this was the higher level of understanding. But remember, some of you are attending other classes, so you're very quick in connecting dots and able to ask questions. So yes, this question was appropriate, and I'm grateful for you to ask that question. That there are so many understanding, layers of understanding, and this group has different levels. So inshallah, with your prayers, we will be able to understand it completely. And no question will remain. All these questions will come and will be answered. Thank you, Naila. Beautiful question. Ji.
Just follow up on that question she asked. You know, on Thursday, you talked that for anybody to, there's an intercessor, right? And that is the Imam. So the question becomes, I can understand like when you just talked about somebody progressing, is that always through the Imam? I mean, the Prophet may be there, but for them to, because they can't always directly communicate with Allah, they cannot. So I wanted to understand that. And then also when Maulana Sultan Muhammad Shah in the memoirs talks about, you know, Mahatma Gandhi, he's made it there. Then he didn't believe in the Imam. He didn't pray through the Imam. So if you cannot directly communicate with the Imam or with Allah, then how would that work?
So there are actually layers of questions. Let's try and tackle each one of them. So the first one, let's start with the last what you said, Mahatma Gandhi. There are concept of hujjat. Hujjat means our peers. There are hujjatan, which are of two types. When we study Hudud-e-Din in detail, the concept of Hudud-e-Din, we will learn that there are two types of hujjatan. There are one who are known as hujjat-e-roz, like our day. Roz means day. Peers evident like our daytime. Sunlight is there and we can identify, they are visible to us. But then there is hujjat-e-shab, meaning there are peers who are hidden. In nighttime you cannot see them. And our books do talk about those elevated souls who have carried out the mission of Imam with the hukum of Imam, but not being in with Imam physically. Imam gives whom he wills. But these elevated souls, the marifat of these souls are only given to Imams and high-ranking Mu'mineen. So there are a few names, inshallah, we will talk about them. We will talk about them. So you're thinking right, I want to say that. Now, the other question which is important, that those who elevate themselves to become the spiritual guide, like our peers, like our Paigambars, our Natik, they all have to get Isme Azam from the Imam. When I say that, my worry is, I'm worried that we will make a mistake, which generally Jamaat makes it, that we would see Natik lower than Imam. And I will give you an example, that generally Jamaat thinks that Prophet Muhammad was the first Peer, so his rank is lower than Maula Ali, who is our first Imam. But that is incorrect. That is incorrect. Why? What are we lacking? We are lacking in knowledge. There are darajat in Imams too. There are some Imams who have higher rank than Natik. There are some Imams who have lower rank than Natik. These are all higher understanding, and we have to go step by step. Due to not having knowledge, we misplace personalities and we undermine their exalted status because we just don't know. For that, we do need to seek knowledge. And if you stay on the journey, all those questions which are there in your mind will all be answered. Shukran. I saw Shamim was asking something.
हाँ, मैं ये कह रही थी कि आरिफिन को भी इल्म लदूनी मिलता है,
सुभान अल्लाह,
सही है?
सुभान अल्लाह। तो आरिफ जो कहते हैं, आरिफ के माना होते हैं the one who has the मारिफत। आरिफ is who? फिर सदरदीन, फिर नासिर खुसरो, they are आरिफीन्स। फिर आरिफ, आरिफ के अंदर भी दर्जात हैं। सिर्फ आरिफ जो है वो कोई भी हो सकता है, जमात के अंदर जो इल्म हासिल करता है वो आरिफ बन जाता है। लेकिन आरिफ एक कामिल जो होते हैं, जिनको कंप्लीट मारिफत होती है, वो ऊंचे होते हैं। कहने का मकसद ये है कि दर्जात हैं, हर जगह दर्जात हैं। Again, your question is related to Shabira's question. There are ranks in everything. So yes, you are listening to right things, but you're confused, which is very normal, which is acceptable, because there are gaps, and that's why we are here. It will happen step by step, and I will continue to tell you that be patient with yourself. Do consistent zikr ibadah, because without his name, we are not able to go further a step. And what will happen, you will think of it as if you have a basket and you are collecting these pearls of knowledge. Pearls of knowledge. Keep collecting it, keep collecting it. The further you go, you will pick every pearl and start making a link out of it. A big tasbih puri ban jayegi, mala ban jayegi, and you will know everything. There is nothing which you would not know. Criteria kya hai? Commitment पहला, क्लास की अटेंडेंस, प्रायोरिटाइजेशन करनी है, क्लास के टाइम को मिस नहीं करना है, क्योंकि कभी कभार ऐसा भी होता है कि क्लास के अंदर कुछ बातें कही जाती हैं जो रिकॉर्डिंग में नहीं रखी जा सकती। सो यू विल हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट कमिटमेंट टू क्लासेस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। एंड देन हमें मालूम है हमारी इबादत को हमको मिस नहीं करना है। इसमें आजम की इबादत एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट है। तस्बीह जिक्र को जारी रखना है ताकि हमारे अंदर जो है वो इमाम की तरफ से रोशनी हो। जी
Subhanallah. There is a question in the chat. Some see our Imams as Allah. If this is correct, how can some Imams be lower than Natik?
Very good question. Again, you're all going ahead of your journey. Yes, you're absolutely correct. I am a believer of Ali Allah. You hear me saying Ali Allah. I am a firm believer of Ali Allah. And I would like Naveen Sahiba to share those English lectures and Gujarati lectures of Ali Allah on the group so they can understand how our Peer Mai Baap has given us the talimat of Ali Allah. There are darjat in Imams. How? Because we are talking about function, the ranks of Imam. The rank of Prophet, for example, is different from the rank of Natik. But when we talk of Noor, it is one Noor. When we talk of Darjat in Imam, we are talking about the functions of Imam. When we talk of Noor, it is one Noor. So I have no problem saying Ali Allah, because he is that embodied light who is present in this world, in this universe, to guide us. And Imam has always been present. This world cannot be without Imam. Imams have always been there in the time of Adam, in the time of Hazrat Muhammad. Every time, all the time, Imams are present. But there are difference in the ranks. When we don't understand the ranks in its reality, in its actuality, what happens that we misplace. And then we are like, ये तो इमाम पे इम्तिहान आ गया भाई हमारे इमाम कैसे छोटे हो गए नहीं इमाम is Ali Allah. I have no doubt about that. I'm saying that. But then within Imam there are ranks. And with knowledge that will come easy. अपने ईमान को मजबूत रखें, each one of you. Keep your iman firm, please. We are all Ismailis, and we are on the journey of recognition of Imam. All the questions will be answered in great detail. Patience is needed. And yes, continue to do personal search, continue to listen to the resources Naveen Sahaba shares, and continue to collect those pearls. All these subtleties, like delicacies in understanding of each concepts, we will go into detail step by step, so all of us will understand.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Is there any other questions? I just wanted to share one comment which Asmina Saiba shared, that this 1 hour goes so fast and so much to learn and so much we don't know. So shukr Mola for sharing the knowledge.
To that, Niamat Sahiba. Very, very inspiring and enlightening session. Thank you very much.
Shukra Mola,
Shukran.
Shukra Mola. Thank you. It's all due to
Yeah,
your
thank
presence.
you.
Thank you.
I do want to say, Niamat and Navin, you always talk about how grateful how happy you are that we are here. But when I look at the knowledge and time and effort that you put in, it's like astounding. So I just want to say, Shukar, thank you. I almost can't believe it. So there's so much effort and time and responsiveness that I do want to acknowledge that verbally. Thank you.
Need your prayers. That's it. Shukra Mola. It's all
Yes,
Imam's
always
mercy and
praying
our
for
prayers.
always praying for both of you.
Thank you. Shukra Mola. Let us take leave now. Okay. Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.
Yeah, you were dead.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad.